Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the delay. I just had a cold sore for a while. There's no other words about it. Like, it was just a big old ugly thing on my lips, and like, given the sunglasses, I was sorely tempted to cover up with something, with like my face mask or something out way early on. I forget the actual word for it, but it's like piece of cloth connected to itself that you just pull over your head. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But like, I thought it would be a bit too comical with the sunglasses, so either way, it's cleared up now. And for the first video that I'm going to record real quick to try and make up for lost time, I'm just going to talk about the first episode of Invincible. I want to make my way through that show. I liked it quite a lot, the first episode. And yeah, I'm just going to give my off-the-cuff thoughts about it. Bit blurrier because I didn't just watch it. I watched it on the bus while going to the bank to do stuff, and yeah, had a Subway whilst I was eating it on the way back. God, it was months since I had one. It's nothing special. It's just like a kind of healthier junk food that I like compared to McDonald's and whatnot. But God, it was really tasty. So if I forget any important or key details, well, it's either A, because I don't really feel like mentioning them yet, because it's not relevant to my thoughts, because I haven't watched the full series, or I just forgot about it because of the Subway. Anywho, that's enough of the preamble and just ramble altogether. I thought this episode was rather nice, and it was a good establishing episode. It's not often we see what's it, kind of an heir to a superhero, there we are, in this kind of scenario, because normally it's like, you know, your Dick Grayson's raised by him, or raised by Batman, or Damian Wayne, who wasn't raised by him from a very young age, or in this case his birth, but was part of this like League of Assassins, you know. So super rad backstory. We have like Superboy, who was a clone. We don't really get to see the insecurities of being the son of this grand, world-saving Superman-type hero, and actually see how that can affect you when you've been living with this person for near 20 years and have just been in their shadow the entire time, unsure whether or not you'll actually develop powers and be able to join him in, you know, crime fighting and like live up to the family legacy. So that was quite nice. I also enjoyed the stuff. What's it with the outfit designer about trying to make something iconic? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, played by Mark Hamill, or at least has that kind of sound to it. Something familiar like that. God, no. Would it be? It's something familiar like that. Like, I've heard this person before and I know I like them, but I can't remember off the top of my head if it's exactly that. Anyway, there was just some nice stuff about being iconic. And it's just a bit of nice meta commentary. Was it meta commentary or was it just satire? Either way, it was very enjoyable. But yeah, what else was there? I also really enjoyed this a little bit of the bully, where even without superpowers, he still stands up to them to do what is right against someone who's strong with him, which I have a feeling, because like it's been mean to death, I feel that characteristic will play a key part in later episodes of this very season. But it's also like a great taste of how that kind of power could possibly corrupt someone if they're not mentally ready for it. Because as soon as he gets it, it's like, hit me. Hit me. You can't hurt me, so I'm going to keep telling you to hit me until you feel small and broken. And as he says to his mother, make me do something. And she immediately calls him out on that, saying, does that make you feel strong, powerful? I can't make you do anything now that your powers are developed? Which was a lovely scene between the two of them. But yeah, it is just very interesting to see that, especially because like how the episode ends. Which, God, is there anything else I want to talk about before jumping right into that? This one will be way shorter because it's only like 20 minutes and I don't want to spoil too much or go into everything in detail. So, there was potentially gay-coded friend, which, I don't know. Decent voice, so I'm not hating it. I mean, he did literally say his father was hot, so he's either gay or bi or pan or something like that, but that's irrelevant for the time being. There was a nicer bit where he just had to blow off steam, but I feel like that mostly will come up later, so TDLR, dyslexia, it's so fun to live with. He basically stops a bank robbery with someone superpowered, but yeah, he easily hands him his backside. So yeah. Okay, going into the main highlights, not highlights, but like the headliners is what I'm looking for. Basically, you get like this prestige reimagining, I want to say. Prestige, yeah, prestige. It's a fancy word to say, hey, I made an OC that is based off of a superhero as well, but I got paid for it. Up here, so you can see it. That really does just blend in. Or just the glasses on. Either way, I'm sticking to this. I'm sticking to this even if it doesn't work. So where was I? Yes, prestige subversion of basically, I want to say DC and Marvel Comics, but given Omni-Man and his similarities to Superman, probably leans heavier towards DC than Marvel. But part of the problem of that is these worlds don't really exist on their own. They only exist in subversion of the mainline big superhero comics of DC and Marvel. Like there's one scene with, I think, someone named Immortal, and he has a supervillain that's saying, I'm about to die and I'm going to take this whole city with me. And he just like yeets him into space, when in doubt, into space, and the guy is surprised by this, but like, that would be how this world operates. So why would he do this plan? It's only for shock value for the audience. You know, there's no internal cohesion or logic to it. And on that note, I mean, if it has been memed with you death already, I will say spoiler alert for this. Omni-Man, kind of the bad guy. I'm gonna call it, without having watched any of the other episodes or gotten any context from the show whatsoever, other than seeing that one meme image with no context to it whatsoever. Probably some like colonial empire he's from. Given like, oh, we come to help the less races, you know, that don't have superpowers, but it's most likely just to wipe out anyone who could ever oppose them. And they, for some cockamamie reason, just send emissaries to people's planets, have them breed with the locals, and see if they develop their superpowers when bred together. So that could mean, oh, they may be able to develop powers that could threaten us someday. So it's best to wipe them out before it gets to that stage. I mean, it's harebrained if that is what it is, but hey, a plot's a plot. Anyhow, for whatever reason, probably genocidal authoritarianism, Omni-Man, after he discovers his son has powers, some reason goes like just murderous on the prestige version of the Justice League in this universe. Like logistically, he shouldn't have won that fight, because like, I feel confident in saying this, he's way less powerful than Superman, but doesn't have like the kryptonite weakness. Like, the rest of the team is fairly comparable to the Justice League. They split Martian and Manhunter into like two characters. One that's an alien that does the whole stretch Mr. Fantastic thing, and just one photographer woman who can go intangible, and they can all fly, even the Batman Prestige, but that's like a glider, so that makes sense. Not like the Arkham game glider. It's like a Green Goblin one. Anywho, he probably shouldn't have won that fight, because like after the first punch gets blocked by the red blur, the Flash Prestige. What was I thinking? Joke about Prestige. Anyhow, after that misses, like they have him pretty dead to rights. The red blur keeps pulling people just out of the way of like killing blows. And what's it? Batman Prestige, don't remember his name, keeps interrupting him whenever he starts to do some kind of play. Like, we get the established early on, despite having bulletproof skin, some people with these strengths can still have vulnerable eyes. So he's like, oh, I gotta cover my eyes just in case. Or maybe it's just like irritating to him. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a rule of the universe. Maybe it was just that one clone dude. Anywho, like they were just like two people, and the Fishman Aquaman Prestige just blasting him as well. We're doing a pretty good job of keeping at bay for the Martian Manhunter, that's Mr. Fantastic, to bind him, and then, God, I'm still losing track of these prestiges. Wonder Woman and someone else with super strength, maybe like the morality of Superman standing for, just to wail on him and start slowly killing him. And that's without the intangible photographer doing anything at all. And she could have stepped in to like help avoid more blows or just rip his heart out of his body. But like, she does nothing and goes out like a punk when things start going down. When someone dies and gets thrown at her, she becomes tangible just to die. So that don't make sense. And like the red blur, for some reason, decides to go on the offensive despite what they're doing is like fundamentally working. And if they just stick at it, they will win out in the long run. But instead, he gets cocky, hits him a few times that has no real effect because he's Superman, Omni-Man, can barely be hurt by stuff like that. So his speed, while giving some more kinetic force, just isn't the same as those other two hitting on him directly on the head the whole fight. And we do get established that Omni-Man is pretty fast, so like he does eventually get his hands on him and starts to crush his head. Like he shouldn't have done that. He should have kept it defensive. I've thought about this way more than anything else from this episode, as you can tell. But like, yeah, that's what he should have done. And what's even more egregious than his hot-headedness, getting him killed, and everyone else, the Batman Prestige decides, hey, yeah, I'm gonna kick this invulnerable person. Like, I'm keeping my distance and throwing out like explosive batarangs that just annoy him and interrupt him whenever he starts to make a charge. But you know what? I feel like my normal mortal legs are strong enough to do something to him, and it's like, nope. Slams him into the ground, he goes splat. Gets thrown at the other one, who goes out like a punk. The intangible lady that I previously mentioned. It's like, the three people who should have been playing support, so the heavy hitters could have won the fight, just die, and it makes no sense. It's clearly just in service of the plot. But it's like, it would have been far more interesting if he took them out like one by one instead. Because we expect this like big brawler fight from like a Superman Prestige, but would have actually been real subversion if he just like, oh, what you do? Oh, in your back, find the next one, in the back, find the next one, in the back. Instead, it's this big brawl they probably should have lost. It's like, especially because like some of them are given weaknesses, whether his is removed. The stretchy one, I think his heart doesn't stretch for some reason, and his vulnerable glowing red weak spot, so Omni-Man just rips that out and is no longer getting restrained by him. Fishman dies at some point from punches ahead. So just the two superpowered ones left, and like, I don't know about this immortal one. I don't know who he's supposed to be prestige of. So he dies, which I don't have that big a problem with. Like they make the Wonder Woman one go out like a punk, and like from what I understand about DC Comics, honestly, it is a real 50-50 of who could kill each other in a fight like that between Superman and Wonder Woman. And just seeing this prestige of her just go out like that, it's, again, this is all in service of the end goal of the story, but really just wants a cool scene instead of something that would actually work and, you know, make sense for the character and his motivations. It's like just a big brawl they should have lost. Anyhow, yeah, 60 minutes. Here I thought this was going to be short. Yeah, I just don't think he should have survived that. He was cocky and just overextended himself and probably should have died there, and that should have been the end of the plot. But, you know, there's a more interesting story about to happen in later episodes that I do appreciate. So, well, I hope I will. Anywho, I rambled way too long about that fight. Because, like, that is the thing I remember most from that episode, is like, should have lost. Anyhow. Anyhow. Got a streaming channel, check that out. I got something else to record immediately after this about D&D, so outro. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. Be sure to like, comment, share the video about the place, and to subscribe. And also, if you're feeling exceptionally generous, take a look at my Patreon. Thank you very much for your time. Ta-ta, Wiedersehen, until we meet again.